Hello everyone, myself Dr. Shrikant Vislawat, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Grameen Ayurvedic Medical College, Terdal, Karnataka. In this video, I am going to explain about the hip bone under the headings of the introduction, parts, side determination, anatomical position, and individual parts of the hip bone along with their features and attachments with the clinical correlation. So this is the hip bone. Hip bone is a large, irregular, flat bone in the region of the hip. It is formed by the fusion of the three primary bones: the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis. Now see the parts of the hip bone. The hip bone presents upper and lower expanded parts with the middle constricted part which carries a hollow cup shaped part. This is called as acetabulum on the outer aspect of the hip bone. The upper expanded part called ilium and the lower expanded part has an oval or triangular shaped foramina. It is called as obturator foramina. The part anteromedial to this foramina, it is called as pubis. The part posterior inferior to this foramina, it is called as ischium. The acetabulum articulates with the head of the femur to form the hip joint. The pubic parts of the two hip bones meets anteriorly in the midline to form the pubic symphysis. Two hip bones forms the pelvic or hip girdle. The bony pelvis is formed by two hip bones along with the sacrum and coccyx posteriorly. Now we will see the side determination. The side of the hip bone can be determined by holding the hip bone in such a way that the acetabulum is directed laterally. The flat expanded ilium forms the upper part of the bone that lies above the acetabulum. The obturator foramina lies below the acetabulum. It is bounded. This foramina bounded anteriorly by the thin pubis and posteriorly by the thick and strong ischium. With these points, we can determine the side of the hip bones. So this is the right hip bone. The anatomical position of the hip bone in the body: the pubic tubercle and anterior superior iliac spine lies in the same coronal plane. The pelvic surface of the body of the pubis directed backwards and upwards, and the symphysial surface of the body of the pubis lies in the median plane. Now we will see the individual parts of the hip bone. Hip bone has three parts, that is ilium, pubis, and ischium. The ilium are also called as flank. It forms the upper expanded part and it is a plate like it forming the upper part of the hip bone. Its lower part forms the upper 2/5 part of the acetabulum, and the ilium has a few features. These are upper end, it is also called as the iliac crest. Then the lower end, this is the lower end which is a smaller part. It is fused with the pubis and the ischium and it forms the 2/5 part of the acetabulum. The ilium has three borders. These are anterior border, posterior border, and medial borders. It also has three surfaces. These are gluteal surface, iliac surface also called as iliac fossa, and sacropelvic surface. Iliac crest also called as upper end. The iliac crest is a broad convex ridge forming the upper end of the ilium. It can be felt in the living being at the lower limit of the flank. It has curvature. The curvature of the iliac crest is vertically, it is convex upward anterior posteriorly and concave inwards in front and concave outward behind. The highest point of the iliac crest is situated in the little behind the midpoint of the iliac crest. This point lies at the level of the interval between the spines of the lumbar vertebrae 3rd and 4th. Now we will see the ends of the iliac crest. There are two ends. One is the anterior end of the iliac crest. It is called as anterior superior iliac spine. This is a prominent landmark that easily felt in the livings. The posterior end of the iliac crest, it is also called as posterior superior iliac spine. Its position on the surface of the body is marked by a dimple present 5 cm lateral to the second sacral spine. Now we will see the morphological division. Morphologically, the iliac crest is divided into a long ventral segment and a short dorsal segment. The ventral segment forms more than the anterior 2/3 part of the crest. It has an outer lip, and inner lip and intermediate area. The tubercle of the iliac crest, it is an elevation part that lies on the outer lip about 5 cm behind the anterior superior iliac spine. Now see the dorsal segment. The dorsal segment forms the less than the posterior 1/3 of the iliac crest, and it has a lateral and medial slope separated by a ridge. Anterior border starts at the anterior superior iliac spine and runs downwards to the acetabulum. The upper part of this border presents a notch, while its lower part shows a elevation. It is called as anterior inferior iliac spine. The lower half of this spine is large and triangular and rough in nature. Posterior border extends from the posterior superior iliac spine to the upper end of the posterior border of the ischium. A few centimeters just below this posterior superior iliac spine, it presents another prominence. It is called as posterior inferior iliac spine. Still lower down to this posterior border, it is marked by a large deep notch called greater sciatic notch. Medial border extend on the pelvic surface of the ilium from the iliac crest to the iliopubic eminence. It separates the iliac fossa from the sacropelvic surface. Its lower rounded part forms the iliac part of the arcuate line or inlet of the pelvis. Gluteal surface is the outer surface of the ilium, which is convex in front and concave behind, like the iliac crest. It is divided into 4 areas by 3 gluteal lines. These are posterior gluteal line, which is the shortest line, begins 5 cm behind the posterior superior iliac spine and runs downward to end in the upper part of the greater sciatic notch. Next is anterior gluteal line. It is the longest one, begins 4 cm behind the anterior superior iliac spine, then runs backwards, then downwards to end in the middle of the upper border of the greater sciatic notch. Inferior gluteal line, it is a ill-defined, begins little above and behind the anterior inferior iliac spine, runs backwards and downwards to the end near the apex of the greater sciatic notch. Next is iliac surface, or also called as iliac fossa. It is a large concave area on the inner surface of the ilium, situated in front of the medial border. It forms the lateral wall of the false pelvis. Next surface we have, that is sacropelvic surface. This sacropelvic surface is the uneven area on the inner surface of the ilium, situated behind the medial border. It is subdivided into three parts: iliac tuberosity, auricular surface, and pelvic surface. The iliac tuberosity, it is upper large roughened area lying just below the dorsal segment of the iliac crest. It is raised in the middle. It is raised in the middle and has depression in both sides. Next is auricular surface. It is a articular part. It lies anterior inferior to this iliac tuberosity. It articulates with the sacrum to form the sacroiliac joint. Next is the pelvic surface. The pelvic surface is a smooth, lies anterior inferior to this auricular surface. It forms the part of the lateral wall of the true pelvis. Attachments related with the ilium. The anterior superior iliac spine gives attachment to the lateral end of the inguinal ligament. It also gives origin to the sartorius muscle, and this muscle arises from the anterior superior iliac spine and the origin point extends onto the upper half of the notch below this spine. Then the outer lip of the iliac crest provides attachment to the fascia lata in its whole extent. Then the origin to the tensor fascia lata in front of the tubercle. Insertion to the external oblique muscle in its anterior 2/3 point. Then origin to the latissimus dorsi just behind the highest point of the crest. This tubercle of the crest gives attachment to the iliotibial tract. The intermediate area of the iliac crest gives origin to the internal oblique muscle in its anterior 2/3 part. Then the inner lip of the iliac crest provides origin to the transverse abdominis in its anterior 2/3. Then attachment to the fascia transversalis and to the fascia lata in its anterior 2/3. And deep to this attachment, it gives origin to the transverse abdominis. The inner lip of the iliac crest gives origin to the quadratus lumborum in its posterior 1/3 part, and it also gives attachment to the thoracolumbar fascia around this attachments of the quadratus lumborum and the posterior 1/3 part of the iliac crest. Now see the attachments present on the dorsal segment of the iliac crest. These are the lateral slope. The lateral slope gives origin to the gluteus maximus, and the medial slope gives origin to the erector spinae muscle. The interosseous and dorsal sacroiliac ligament has attachment on the medial margin of this medial slope. The upper half of the anterior inferior iliac spine gives origin to the striate head of the rectus femoris, and the lower part of this spine gives attachment to the iliofemoral ligament. The posterior border of the ilium provides attachment to the upper fibers of the. Now see the posterior border of the ilium attachments. This posterior border of the ilium provides attachment to the upper fibers of the sacrotuberous ligament above the greater sciatic notch, and origin of few fibers of the piriformis can also seen from the upper margins of this greater sciatic notch. Attachments on the gluteal surface of the ilium. These are area behind the posterior gluteal line gives origin to the upper fibers of the gluteus maximus. The gluteus medius arises area between the anterior gluteal line and posterior gluteal line. This area gives origin to the gluteus medius. Then the gluteus minimus arises from the area between the anterior gluteal line and inferior gluteal lines. Below the inferior gluteal line, the reflected head of the rectus femoris arises from the groove above the acetabulum, and the capsular ligament of the hip joint is attached along the margin of the acetabulum. The iliac fossa gives origin to the iliacus from its upper 2/3 part. The lower grooved part is covered by the iliac bursa. This iliac tuberosity provides attachment to the intraosseous sacroiliac ligament in its greater part, and the dorsal sacroiliac ligament it is posteriorly, and iliolumbar ligament superiorly. The convex margin of this auricular surface gives attachment to the ventral sacroiliac ligaments. Attachments on the pelvic surface of the ilium. The preauricular sulcus provide attachment to the lower fibers of the ventral sacroiliac ligament. The part of the pelvic surface lateral to this preauricular sulcus gives origin to the few fibers of the piriformis. The rest of the auricular surface gives origin to the upper half of the obturator internus. Pubis, it is the anterior-inferior part of the hip bone. It forms anterior 1/5 of the acetabulum, and it forms anterior boundary of the obturator foramen. It has three parts: body, superior ramus and inferior ramus. Now we will see the body of the pubis. It is flattened before backwards, and it has superior border. It is also called as pubic crest, and pubic tubercle at the lateral end of the pubic crest, and it has three surfaces: anterior surface, posterior surface and medial surface. The pubic tubercle, it is an important landmark formed at the lateral end of the pubic crest. The anterior surface, the anterior surface is directed downwards and forwards. It is rubbed superior medially. Next is posterior surface, also called as pelvic surface. It is smooth, directed upwards and backwards. It forms the anterior wall of the true pelvis. It is related with the urinary bladder. Next we have medial surface, also called as symphysial surface. This one articulate with the opposite pubis to form the pubic symphysis. Superior ramus, it extends from the body of the pubis to the acetabulum. It presents three borders and three surfaces. The three borders are anterior border, superior border and inferior border. Now see the superior border, also called as pectineal line or pectine pubis. It extends from the pubic tubercle to the iliopubic eminence, where the superior ramus join with the ilium bone. Next, anterior border. This anterior border is also called as obturator crest. It extends from the pubic tubercle to the acetabular notch. Okay. Next, inferior border, it is a sharp and forms upper margin of the obturator foramina. Surfaces related with the superior ramus. Number 1, pectineal surface lies between the anterior border and superior border. It is a triangular area extending from the pubic tubercle to the iliopubic eminence. Next is pelvic surface. Pelvic surface lies between the superior border and inferior border. It is smooth and continuous with the pelvic surface of the body of the pubis. Next is obturator surface. Obturator surface lies between the anterior border and inferior border. It presents obturator groove here. Inferior ramus, it extends from the lower and lateral part of the body of the pubis to fuse with the ramus of the ischium to form conjoint ischiopubic ramus on the medial side of the obturator foramina. Attachments and relations related to the pubic bone. The pubic tubercle provides attachment to the medial end of the inguinal ligament and also provides attachment to the ascending loop of the cremasteric muscle. In males, this tubercle is crossed by the spermatic cord. The medial part of the pubic crust, crossed by the medial head of the rectus abdominis, and the lateral part of this crust gives origin to the lateral head of the rectus abdominis and to the pyramidalis. Anterior surface of the body of the pubis gives attachment to the anterior pubic ligament medially, origin to the adductor longus in the angle between the pubic crest and symphysis, origin to the gracilis muscle from the margins of the symphysis pubis along with the inferior ramus, then origin to the adductor brevis lateral to this origin of the gracilis. It also provides origin to the obturator externus near the margins of the obturator foramina. These are the attachments related to the anterior surface of the body of the pubis. Posterior surface of the body of the pubis provides attachment to the origin of the levator ani in its middle part, origin to the obturator internus at the laterally, attachment to the puboprostatic in male and pubovesical ligaments in the female, medial to the attachment of the levator ani muscles. Pectineal line, it provides attachment to the conjoint tendon at its medial end and the lacunar ligament in front of the attachment of the conjoint tendon, and the pectineal ligament of Cooper along with the whole length of the line lateral to this attachment of the lacunar ligament, and the pectineus muscle arises from the whole length of this pectineal line, and the upper part of the pectineal surface gives origin to the pectineus muscle. Then the pelvic surface, it is crossed by the round ligament of the uterus in females, and by the ductus deferens it is crossed in males. The obturator groove transmit the obturator vessels and nerves. Now we will see the ischium. Ischium forms the posterior inferior part of the hip bone and adjoining 2/5 part of the acetabular. It forms the posterior boundary of the obturator foramen and it has body and ramus. Now see the body. Body is a thick structure of the ischium. It lies below and behind the acetabular. It has parts, features like two ends, the upper end and lower end, three borders, anterior border, posterior border and lateral border, three surfaces, femoral surface, dorsal surface and pelvic surface. Ends, the two ends are upper end and lower end. So the upper end forms the posterior inferior 2/5 of the acetabulum, and the lower end forms the ischial tuberosity. This lower end gives off one ramus of the ischium. It forms an acute angle with the body of the ischium. Borders of the body of the ischium: anterior border forms the posterior inferior margin of the obturator foramina. Next, posterior border, it continues with the above with the posterior border of the ilium. Below it ends at the upper end of the ischial tuberosity. It also forms a part of the lower border of the greater sciatic notch. Below the notch, the posterior margin gives one elevation projection that is called as ischial spine. Below the spine, there is a concavity present of this posterior border. It is called as lesser sciatic notch. Lateral border forms the lateral margin of the ischial tuberosity. Now see the surfaces. The femoral surface present between the anterior and lateral borders. The dorsal surface is continuous above with the gluteal surface of the ilium. From above downwards, it presents a convex surface adjoining the acetabulum. There is a wide shallow groove present at the upper part of the ischial tuberosity. Now see the ischial tuberosity. It is divided by a transverse ridge into upper and lower areas. The upper area again subdivided by one oblique ridge into superior, lateral and inferior medial parts. The lower area is again subdivided into by a longitudinal ridge into a outer part and inner areas. The pelvic surface, it is smooth and forms the lateral wall of the true pelvis. So these are the surfaces, borders and end of the body of the ischium. Now see the conjoint ischiopubic ramus. The inferior ramus of the pubis unite with the ramus of the ischium on the medial side of the obturator foramina forms the conjoint ischiopubic ramus. This the site of the union of these two ramus is marked by a thickening here, and this conjoint ramus has two borders and two surfaces: the upper border and lower border, outer surface and inner surface. The upper border forms the lower margin of the obturator foramina, and the lower border forms the pubic arch along with the corresponding border of the bone of the opposite side. The two surfaces: inner surface, it is convex and smooth, divided into three areas by two ridges. These are upper area, middle area and lower area. The outer surface is rough for the attachment of the muscles. This is the outer surface. Attachments and relations of the ischium. First we will see the ischial spine. It provides attachment to the sacrospinous ligament along its margin, and the levator ani, posterior fibers of the levator ani muscle arises from its pelvic surface. Then this lesser sciatic notch, it is occupied by the tendon of the obturator internus, and the upper and lower margins of the lesser sciatic notch gives origin to the superior and inferior gemellus. The femoral surface provides origin for the obturator externus along the margin of the obturator foramina, and the quadratus femoris along the lateral border of the upper part of the ischial tuberosity. It has attachments. Then the dorsal surface of the ischium has a relationship. The upper convex area is related with the piriformis, sciatic nerve and the nerve to the quadratus femoris, this area. Attachments on the ischial tuberosity, these are: the superior lateral surface provides origin to the semimembranosus muscle. The inferior medial area provides origin to the semitendinosus and long head of the bicep femoris muscle. The outer lower area gives origin to the adductor magnus, and the lower inner area, inner lower area covered by the fibrofatty tissue, this area. The sharp medial margin of this tuberosity gives origin to the sacrotuberous ligament, and the lateral border of this ischial tuberosity gives origin to the ischiofemoral ligament. The greater part of the pelvic surface of the ischium gives origin to the obturator externus muscle. Attachments related with the ischiopubic rami. The upper border of this ischiopubic rami provides attachment to the obturator membrane. Lower borders gives attachment to the fascia lata. Now see the attachments on the outer surface of the ischiopubic rami. The obturator externus arises near the obturator membrane from this both rami. The adductor brevis is mainly arises from this pubic ramus along with the gracilis muscle also, which is coming from the pubic rami. The adductor magnus arises from the ischial ramus. Attachments on the inner surface of the ischiopubic ramus. The perineal membrane attached to the lower ridge. The upper area gives origin to the obturator internus. The middle area gives origin to the deep transverse perineal, and the lower area provides attachment to the crus penis or clitoris, and it also gives origin to the ischio-cavernous and superficial transverse perineal muscles. Acetabulum, it is a deep cup shaped hemispherical cavity on the outer aspect of the hip bone. It is directed laterally. The margins of the acetabulum, it is deficient inferiorly. This is called as acetabular notch. It is bridged by the transverse ligament. The horseshoe shaped articular surface or lunate surface has anterior part, superior part and posterior parts. It is lined by the hyaline cartilage and articulate with the head of the femur to form the hip joint. The non-articular rough floor, it is called as acetabular fossa. It contains fat and it is lined by the synovial membrane. Now see the obturator foramina. It is a large gap in the hip bone situated anterior inferior to this acetabulum between the pubis and the ischium. It is large and oval shape in the male and small and triangular shape in the females. It is closed by the obturator membrane.